Alright, so it's time for another monthly recap, and we are in February 2017. Alright, so first of all, got some big news to get out of the way. First of all, in terms of myself, I have stopped writing for GameSpew because at the end of January, basically when I put out the last update for January, I joined this little website I can now talk about called The Gamer. And it just launched today, and I'm super excited because I've been working my ass off along with my other content creators on creating all these listicles, getting ready for the launch of March 1st. And seeing it launch now is just such a huge wave of relief, and I can't wait to go forward. And I will put content out related to that on this channel. But yeah, I'm super excited about it, and it was, hard to say goodbye to GameSpew because even though I was volunteer, it was some great experience, and they took me in when I lost Examiner, and it was nice to have a professional spot to call home while I transitioned into more videos on ReActionExaminer here, and putting content from Examiner onto GameSpew, or onto GameJerk. Anyway, so many game name websites. Anyway, let's talk about the games of February. So first of all, we have Fire Emblem Heroes, which was fun for a week, and it was fun, and then it got way too grindy, and it became one of those apps where you really have to pay money or reset the game in order to get like the best heroes, and it just became a huge grind. And because of the story I did not care about, and it was just a collage of characters in this grid and art style that I wasn't really caring for either, I decided to delete it. I actually just deleted it today. A new month, new beginnings. It's sad, but it's fine, but I just don't really game that much on my phone anyway, so whatever. Next, we have Nioh, and I'm actually very sad that I gave up on this game because I wasn't looking forward to it that much. I kind of have a like-hate relationship with the Dark Souls kind of series. The one game that I love above all else is Bloodborne, and it's kind of a little bit like Bloodborne, where it's all about attack and countering and dodging more so than it is like a high defense blocking kind of thing. And I like that. And it reminds me not to be like a bunch of other people out there just calling it a Souls game, but it is, and that's okay to call it that. But it's also reminiscent of Onimusha, which, the Dark Souls series pretty much is kind of like Onimusha and Resident Evil, which was like, collaboration of an action game, but still kind of slow paced and methodical, and with a horror kind of vibe. And that's kind of some of the roots there. And Nioh is definitely that. It's kind of weird where there's pirate is like the greatest samurai, so whatever, all that silliness aside, but I really dug it. But man, it's a huge investment to get into, and I just was not looking forward to that in the beginning of February. Nothing else in February really had me stuck either, so I kind of just focused my time on creating all that content for the gamer. So that may be a reason why I gave up on Nioh, besides it just being really hard. And it became a grind trying to get through bosses and then having to go all the way back and get items. And yeah, I like it. I might return to it at some point. It is very cool. Yeah, it's more than a Souls game, but it's also a Souls game mixed with a lot of different types. It's its own thing, and I think it's great. But for right now, not for me. The same thing I could say for Honor, which is a game that I wasn't looking forward to at all, but actually I played it, and it's like a combination of Star Wars Battlefront and Dynasty Warriors, where you're fighting hordes and hordes of enemies and capturing checkpoints and bases, and I love that. And plowing through hordes of people as either of the classes of the Knights, the Samurai, and the Vikings is pretty cool. The campaign is also pretty cool for a while, and then it ramps up in difficulty and becomes this huge blocking challenge match that I just did not find interesting, and it became more frustrating than it was interesting to learn the combat. I did have some fun with the multiplayer. It's actually really fun to go in there and face off against people, and it loads pretty fast. It looks fantastic. It's one of those games where I might come back to, but for me it got kind of repetitive and whatever fast, so it was a fun flash in the pan kind of thing. Next, I got this review code for Aether Origin, which I really did not expect, and I had no idea that this game came out in 2006 originally, and this is the first console debut on PS4, and it's coming out in May, I think, for the Vita. If you've never played an Aether game, it's kind of Zelda-esque, but more action-oriented with kind of a trite, stereotypical anime cliche gods and goddesses storyline that I really didn't care for, but the action is always tight. It's gameplay above story, above everything else. It doesn't really look good. I mean, it is from 2006, and there are some like glitches in it, but if you have 20 bucks lying around and you really want a fun weekend game that'll last you with all like the different campaigns and extras and all that stuff, it's about, you know, maybe somewhere in the range of 14 to 20 hours if you really want to unlock everything. It's really fun. Of course, I really wouldn't recommend that now that Horizon's out, where you can get your Zelda Fisk, and there's actually Zelda coming out as well. Yeah. And last, speaking of the Warriors games, we have Berserk and the something Hawk, the Band of the Hawk. Didn't really get into the series. I tried watching the original one, couldn't get into it. I tried watching the new one, immediately shut it off when I found out it's a weird CG anime thing, and I hate that there's a lot of shows that are doing that. It's that's a whole other thing together. It's, you know, a fine thing, but because I had no attachment to the story or the characters, I was like, yeah, you know, it's a Warriors game, but whatever. And that's pretty much the games that I played in terms of the games that actually released this month. I played some other stuff, like getting more into Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse and watching the X-Files, which is a huge, weird kind of collaboration in my mind, and I'll never be able to separate that now, but yeah. So I'm very excited to go forward with March. There's so many games that I really, really hope that turn out really good, and I have some more exciting things to talk about, and I'm looking forward to the gamer stuff going forward. And Horizon Zero Dawn just came out yesterday, and I have played it, and I do like it a lot, but I think I'm going to put that in the February, or I'm going to put that in the March update, because just, you know, a day is not really worth my time in talking about it here, and I can't say I love it, but tomorrow I might get frustrated and annoyed that things get repetitive or something, so I don't want to give my full thoughts now. But I am liking it so far. And that's pretty much what I've been up to in February, so see you in March. Did you know that was a ReActionExaminer video? If you liked it, you should subscribe to me to keep up with everything that I'm doing. Also, if you have some other interests, like sex for example, check out Tum Ups, which is a comedy sex podcast thing wherein my best friend and I check out the weird and abnormal and the erotic. And of course, you should support me on Patreon because, hey, I want to make the channel better, and I want your help to do so. Plus, if you want to check out my writing, check out Game Jerk, where I have archives and new stuff for all projects, okay? You can find all the stuff and more in the description with the links below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.